आज से 50 साल पहले का समय ऐसा समय था जब लोग एडवर्टीजमेंट्स लाइक हमारा बजाज, ये वो जमाना था जब कुछ ही लोग इंजीनियरिंग को, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को अपना एक पैशन बनाते थे। आई हैव समवन, ही इज अ मेंटर, ही इज अ टीचर, ही इज अ फ्रेंड, ही इज अ सीईओ। चलिए आज मैं आपको एक कहानी सुनाता हूँ। पहले आज से लगभग 50 साल पहले, आज से 50 साल पहले का समय जब रंगीनियत नहीं थी भारत में, ना ही टेलीविजन रंगीन थे, ना ही सपने रंगीन थे। वो एक ऐसा समय था जब लोग एडवर्टीजमेंट्स लाइक हमारा बजाज से लेके सर्फ, निरमा सर्फ से लेकर के अटरली पटरली डिलीशियस समूल, ये वो जमाना था। उस जमाने में लोगों की उम्मीदें तो बहुत थी मगर रिसोर्सेज नहीं थे। लोगों के एस्पिरेशंस भी पता नहीं थे कि नहीं थे। वो एक ऐसा जमाना था, अगर मैं अपने बारे में याद करूं, आज से करीब 30 साल 35 साल पहले जब पूरे मोहल्ले में एक गाड़ी आती थी, और मुझे अच्छे तरीके से याद है, गाड़ी आई थी लाल कार, और वो लाल कार लाल कार लाल कार बोल करके हम लोग उसके पीछे भाग गए थे। तो ये दिखाता है कि ऐसा जमाना था जब आप मोहल्ले में आप गाड़ियां गिन सकते थे, आप गिनती उंगलियों पे गिन सकते थे कितनी गाड़ियां हैं। वो एक ऐसा जमाना था जब कुछ ही लोग इंजीनियरिंग को, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को अपना एक पैशन बनाते थे। लेकिन जैसे भारत के बारे में बोला जाता है कि भारत एक देश नहीं है, एक विचारधारा है, एक गुरु है, एक विश्व गुरु है। तो हमेशा कठिनाइयों से लड़ते रहने का ये हमेशा ये एक प्रमाण देता है। सो सिमिलर टू दैट, they were individuals who fought a lot of adversity in their life. काफी डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन से लड़ते हुए उन्होंने कुछ करने का ठाना उस समय, और उन्होंने काफी चीजें चेंज की। अब मुझे रश्मि रथी में रामधारी सिंह दिनकर का वो पंक्ति याद आता है जिन्होंने कहा था, वर्षों तक वन में घूम घूम बाधा विघ्नों को चूम चूम, सह धूप घाम पानी पत्थर, पांडव आए कुछ और निखर, सौभाग्य न सब दिन सोता है, देखे आगे क्या होता है। सो देखे आगे क्या होता है, ये देखने के लिए कुछ लोगों ने प्रतिज्ञा की, कुछ लोगों ने मेहनत किया। उनमें से मैं आज एक ऐसे शख्सियत के साथ बैठा हुआ हूं, और काफी इंपॉर्टेंट, काफी इंटरेस्टिंग शख्सियत है जो अपने फादर से काफी मोटिवेटेड है, और उनके फादर उनकी एक इंस्पिरेशन है, जो आपको इन्हें बताते हुए मुझे काफी गौरवान्वित फील हो रहा है कि उन्होंने 52 साल की उम्र में एक पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन किया था, और कहां से लेकर के कहां तक पहुंचे। और ये छाप जो हमारे शख्सियत बैठी वो उनको काफी प्रभावित किया। ही, हिज डैड एंड हिज सन हैड वन मोटो इन लाइफ, कि जो वो बोलते हैं और जो वो करते हैं और जो वो सोचते हैं, वो तीनों चीजें एक रहती है। और ये काफी इंपॉर्टेंट लेसन है। I have someone who's sitting with me who has not only changed the supply chain, but who has changed the belief system. Not only who has changed the output, but who has changed the outlook. Not only who has changed the culture, but created a culture for everybody to embrace. He is a mentor, he is a teacher, he is a friend, he is a CEO, and for who winning is not a goal, winning is a habit. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Vijay Kalra sir, who had illustrious life serving in a lot of global and Indian manufacturing firms, starting from Ashok Leyland to Toyota, to Class, to General Motors, to AIC, to Mahindra, and change the face of the manufacturing, and he still has that ambition to help India thrive and go to the next level. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Vijay Kalra sir.
थैंक यू संजीव. आई डोंट फील कि आज तक कभी ने किसी ने मेरा इतना अच्छा इंट्रोडक्शन दिया होगा. एंड नाउ यू हैव पुट मी अंडर प्रेशर टू लिव अप टू एक्सपेक्टेशन ऑन आवर डिस्कशन.
Summarize your 50 years of journey so far in the work life. How would you summarize?
It's 45 years. I mean, I started 1980, and I believe it's life well lived. बीच में कभी ऐसा लगा कि are you living for a purpose or something? So I think throughout life, I mean these 45 years of professional career, I had a chance to really work with great organizations, many great people, and was always learning things one should be doing, and at the same time learning one should not be doing. Okay, so experiencing all these things, I believe, I mean, I'm reasonably satisfied, very happy, and in the whole chain I've made very good friends, which keep me moving now at this stage of life. So that's what it is. I mean, I feel really staying that, and learn from everybody. I mean, whether it was great leaders or even the colleagues, even the staff which I had.
Right. So चलिए शुरुआत से शुरुआत करते हैं. तो आप उस समय से आते हैं जब बहुत लोगों के पास अपॉर्चुनिटी भी नहीं होती थी पढ़ाई करने की, कॉलेजेस जाने की. तो थोड़ा इफ यू कैन टॉक अबाउट सम ऑफ द अर्लियर इयर्स ऑफ योर एजुकेशन. आपने पढ़ाई कैसे की, आपका क्या मोटिवेशन था, उस समय के क्या सिनारियो थे, क्योंकि हम उस समय के बारे में उतना नहीं जानते.
Yeah, so I think that was a time when India, we were caught in scarcity of everything. And incidentally, because I am among those people whose parents came from the western part of India, I mean Pakistan now, and they have to resettle here. And many families have their own problems, and we also had this. My father was just in 8th standard at that time, and when they moved here, and, because they moved immediately after partition, they were not able to bring anything here and had to live in refugee camps and manage. And incidentally, I lost my grandmother because of typhoid and this, when medicines not available, and then lost my grandfather when I was just 3 months old, so I have never seen him. And I understand it was he was running a small kirana shop, and in the morning there was some electric wire where it was open naked, and then he kept this thing, and that electrocution took his life. And so my father had a very difficult start when he wanted to really study or something, but because of livelihood, he has to do work as coolie at Delhi, one of the railway stations, Sabji Mandi, and then they moved to Rewari in some refugee camp, and then he was doing finishing off those utensils and still had those marks on his hand. And so it was very, very humble start for us when they got married, my father and mother, and after that we were in Fatehgarh and first Bareilly and then Fatehgarh. When my schooling started at nursery, my father we both used to go together on his cycle. I was sitting on the front, and then he will drop me to nursery school and then go for intercollegiate or something. And then fortunately there was one exam. Railway was big employer at that time. And there was exam for typist and steno or so. And this used to be India level, this thing, and many people used to participate in that. And I don't remember whether he was third or seventh there. So he got there, and then later, because of that, he got into it. And then he had done graduation, and as you said in the beginning, he done post graduation on this thing at the age of 52, and then moved at this thing from railways. Railway had a staff college in Baroda. So as officer, there was some training where he stood first again. Then he moved to Cabinet Secretariat, then FCI, and retired at a very this thing. So I've seen that difficult time, and to give money even for education. He was very, very clear that me and my two sisters, education is something which will never be compromised, and whatever is to be done in those things. So that was the first priority of the home. So can understand that how difficult he was supporting me, and so I wanted to get the best out of it.
Can you talk about how was it at that time getting into manufacturing sector? क्योंकि आज के दिन में manufacturing is not seen as an aspirational sector, which I think that needs to change. But how was it at that time getting into a manufacturing sector and getting an opportunity to work in a big company like Ashok Leyland?
Yeah, so I think it was more of destiny than a well-planned something. If I am very open, I never thought I will be engineer. I had no inclination to become engineer. Medical was never a choice for me. While at that time, every parent wanted their son or daughter to be either engineer or doctor. And when it comes to engineering, we used to have three main branches: electrical, civil, and mechanical. I think that we were chatting one day, we were just telling you that I wanted to get into arts or science or something and do graduation from Delhi, and got admission in Stephens also. And parallelly tried IIT, which I never got it, to be very frank. But DC was a choice, Delhi College of Engineering, but civil, no interest. And second thought was Kurukshetra, got delayed before because I thought I will not go for it. But to be very frank, some pressure coming from father, supported by mother, because my mother was also struggling. We all were struggling at home now, and she used to even stitch. उस टाइम गारमेंट्स हिंदुस्तान में बहुत बन के जाते थे बाहर, तो somebody will give you garments and you stitch them and give in the evening, and 1 rupee per piece or something. So she was even doing that to manage that. So I was under obligation or this thing. I should do something and feel of my father that if you do graduation or something, you will struggle the way he has struggled as clerical job or section office or something, which may not be there. So I landed in Gwalior because he was posted there in MP, and there was some reserve seat. And the last day, 6th August was the day I still remember. 6th August morning, I gave up and say I am taking admission. So this is how I began. And there were very, very little choices at that time because government used to be main employer. And if you are in northern area, then Escorts, DCM, Thapar Group, these were big employers. Tata's was seen. Telco was a company of choice. Ashok Leyland used to come in that. And none of these companies were coming for campus to our college. So, there was no choice. Came out. Got into calculator. They had cash register unit, not the main fabrication in Palwat. Then I got into a company known as Simplicity Engineers. They were in furnaces for heat treatment and other way. And in between saw a advertisement coming about Ashok Leyland they were going for a major expansion for Ennore. Along with Ennore, they had put a plant in Hosur. They were thinking of adding 2 more at Bandara, Maharashtra, and one in Alwar. So this advertisement came that they are looking for graduate apprentices, both engineers and diploma. And they had a written exam in all 4 zones of the country. And Delhi was one of them at Tej Building. And so Tej Building, Asaf Ali Road, I was sitting at Simply Engineers in Mayapuri and was debating whether I should really go there and attempt or something, and then thought of going to Madras. Was very difficult at that time. North Indian going to Madras. But just, I think destiny has some play, and God and let's make an attempt, then we will see. Went there, gave return, somehow was lucky to get this thing, and then had interview. And I was told in the evening that, yeah, you are selected. Came back, that way, I have huge regards for my both parents that, sending somebody at Madras at that time from Delhi never looked a great choice, but while I said I want to do it, they said, let's do it. No, let's not worry about this thing. And that's how I landed at Ashok Leyland. So Ashok Leyland was this. After that was everything, but was by choice. 1984 was the time when Indian auto industry, when government allowed some companies to come. Maruti came into cars, and then they allowed 4 more companies to come.
Yeah.
They were Toyota, then Mazda, Mitsubishi, and Nissan. While Maruti was given chance to get into passenger car, the rest all were not given chance to win this thing. But all of them felt that it's the right time to enter country, so they said that okay, even if it is commercial vehicle, we will enter. Incidentally, I had one of my HR lead who was there at Alwar with me, moved to Maruti as deputy manager HR, and he offered me at Suzuki. And the grade used to be 1100 rupees, 60 rupees increment, and 1600 rupees. I said, no, I am not coming. Then he said, okay, Vijay, I will give you one more increment. Come. Swaraj, also I got a chance to join. So these were 3 choices I had. And one of our leader at Ashok Leyland, PK Lab, he's no more now. He HR lead. He joined DCM Toyota as head of this thing, and he also called. And one of my colleague from Ashok Leyland also joined here. So he gave me a call, and I felt Toyota is much bigger in name. Much, because Toyota was Toyota even at that time. Yeah. When India was talking about, we used to talk about best companies in the world. Yes. Toyota was one side, Sony was one side,
yes,
Toshiba was one, Dasher, Panasonic. These were some 4-5 great names, General Motors and all. So I said Toyota will be the best thing, and that's how I landed at Toyota. Wow.
What a story. So I think there were two takes that you never know what will happen.
Yeah.
So even though manufacturing wasn't your choice, you landed into manufacturing, and look at how it turned out. So there is a great book by Nassim Taleb who called Fooled by Randomness, and that's what he talks about. That you never plan for a breakthrough moment, it's luck.
Yeah.
And what a choice it was. And second, that Indians and Indian parents are very, very resilient. They allowed a North Indian to go and work in a South India, which can pose some challenges in the beginning in terms of, say, language, bhasa, khana, peena. लेकिन तभी बोले नहीं, जाओ, career, जाओ, मेहनत करो. That's a great thing about India, ki adaptability and resilience. So I think these are the two key takeaways. I'll get into the other part. As you rightly said, I think I was only 2 years old by 1985, as you were talking about. But I've read that that was a time when, as you said, कि हमने मारुति को अलाउ किया, हमने 4 और कंपनी को लाया. And I was also reading at 1985 we were in India, the total number of car sales was 50,000. 50,000 पैसेंजर व्हीकल बिकती थी. उस 50,000 पैसेंजर व्हीकल में 5,000 ही इंडिया में बनती थी, और बनाने वाले लोग थे जैसे आपके साथ पद्मिनी प्रीमियर, एम्बेसडर कार्स एंड ऑफ कोर्स फ्यू मारुति. और आज का दिन देखिए, लास्ट फाइनेंशियल ईयर में हमने 50 लाख कार इंडिया में बनाई, जिसमें से 7 लाख कार हमने एक्सपोर्ट किया. तो क्या एक ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल चेंज आया कि 5,000 जो कार बनती थी वो अभी 50 लाख कार लास्ट ईयर बनी है. एंड ये पॉसिबल तभी हो पाया, आई बिलीव, when people like yourself were brave enough to take into this profession and had that inspiration to bring some changes. क्योंकि ये ऐसे तो नहीं आएगा, 5,000 कार से 50 लाख कार एक साल में. It's a big transformation. So before we get into the Toyota journey of yours, and for our listeners to understand some learning from there, what were the key learnings or key things that you did or your colleague did or the Ashok Leyland was doing at that time? So क्या-क्या चीजें उसमें कर रहे थे from all aspects, if you can talk about?
So Ashok Leyland was a great experience in the sense that first is their entry, thinking of having 4 zones, written exam and then interview and all those things, and bringing all these guys together was a very good thought. A company which is basically southern based, and even when it comes to their market, it was more southern and east. And thinking that now we will break barriers and we will go to North India and we will serve West. And if we have to go North India and West, then it's better to have some manufacturing base there and to employ guys from there and not just bring people from those experienced people from Ennore and Bhubaneswar. It was a very good thinking, And even that time, there was no family supporting Ashok Leyland. There were a couple of guys who had good shareholding, but they were not this thing. So it was a very clear corporate with this thing. The company, even if you see their products at that time, they were very equivalent to what was happening in Leyland, Britain. So there were good learnings about it, so very, very progressive company, bit conservative when it comes to taking risk, but ensuring that business goes well.
True. I think I have a great respect for Ashok Leyland. I think it's a great story coming from southern part of India and really taking especially the commercial vehicle sector to the next level, and they are even in the forefront of innovation today in terms of electrical vehicle in that segment as well, and they have done fantastic, I think, in that segment. Now you joined Toyota, who was the manufacturing giant at that time, a great Japanese company. I think was the highest selling, the largest market cap at that time in not only Japan, I think in America. So 2 questions. What was it working like for Toyota at that time?
Yeah, so after Ashok Leyland, Toyota was a great break. Because Ashok Leyland, all said and done, still was very conventional way of working. I'll just correct the numbers you said. In those days, when it comes to car, we were making close to 45,000 cars in India. 22,000 coming both from Premier and Ambassador, that is Hindustan Motors.
Hindustan Motors.
And around 5,600 cars coming from that Samsung group.
Yes.
Yeah. And when it comes to commercial vehicle, these were two main players. One side Ashok Leyland, other side Tata Motors.
Tata Motors. Yes.
And Tata Motors was almost 3 times in numbers. Okay, so Ashok Leyland used to do 15,000 trucks a year, and Tata Motors used to do almost 42,000, 1:3. Profitability wise, if you say percentage of profitability, Ashok Leyland used to be slight ahead or almost similar to something. And because it was licensed, Raj, so it was very protected market. Every year, I mean, there was a time when the efficiencies was the question, okay, and so when the first thing what happened was after joining Toyota, first is when we saw products like Dyna. It was huge, different, very different. I mean, much more modern, much more different. Then we were supposed to go for training there, and actually I joined the AOTS, Association of Overseas Training and something in Delhi, which is Japanese center here, and 3 months learned a bit of language also, learned hiragana there. And we were supposed to go on 31st October 1984. And that was in the evening. And at that time, taking a flight overseas was a big thing, even
Yes.
family and all those things. But very unfortunate thing happened. That was the day we lost Indira Gandhi.
Oh,
That happened at 10 a.m. in the morning, 10:30. And the call was taken that this visit has to be cancelled. And then it happened subsequently after 15-20 days. And this was 51 days training. On the way, landing at Singapore, that airport, the people and all these things, and then going to Tokyo Kenshu Center, the training center. It's an AOTS program, so while it's sponsored by Toyota, it's supported by government of Japan. So being there in Tokyo was a different experience. The ecosystem, the discipline, the behaviors, the hard work during trainings and all those things. It was more like going back to school, that in the day you will be taught something. In the evening somebody will question, and then you have good celebration the night. Then after some, I think we were there in those center for 15-20 days, then landed at Toyota Motor Corporation, Toyota City. Toyota used to have 9 plants there at that time. So we moved to one of the plants, Hotshot plant. I had joined there in quality, so it was mainly process quality. And we were given training to work as an inspector on the shop floor, and then final settings and all those things. So it was really learning by hands or something. So that really, it was significantly different than what I've done at Shogi. And then first time I felt that I'm learning something new to do and something. Even during those days when in Indian industry, practically every vehicle used to roll pulled by something because none of them was complete, none of them was starting, and then it will go to some shortage yard and then fix and this thing. Toyota used to make vehicle where we used to make chassis here, and it used to go to the other body for this thing. And on the assembly line at the last stage, and the assembly line goes as fast as cycle time of 3 minutes.
wow.
So every 1 hour, and there were 4 assembly lines in the plant where I was working. So assembly line where I was there, 3 minutes. When the last station will come, the vehicle will be lifted by this thing, because it was only chassis and body has to be there. And it will be directly loaded on the truck which will take it there. So there was nothing like final inspection, there was nothing like repair and all those things. This is 1984 now. When you see those charts on the this thing, measuring KPIs and daily measurements and even problem sheets and all those things. It was written in Japanese, but they used to print it. No, I mean every word was written so clear. The guy who used to be our supervisor, his understanding about that subject. No?
I think I always get fascinated. I had a great respect for Japanese engineering, Japanese way of doing stuff, and Toyota is an epitome of that. I think जितने भी लोग कहीं भी काम करते हैं, I think we all talk about ownership, giving people ownership of what they do, giving them accountabilities, making roles and responsibilities clear, and as you said, that having process sheets clearly defined. So all these things are said, and people do that, but still a lot of industries fail to achieve the level of consistency and the process reliability that some of these Japanese companies have been able to master. So what I want to understand, what is the difference between somebody doing it and a lot of them not able to do?
No, I think it's more of that ownership and pride of doing that job. No?
Okay.
The word pride, no, and all individuals trying to do right, and the whole ecosystem, if things are not going right, no, really questioning that. It's all about ecosystem. Okay, I mean in Japan, if I have a contract with some party to supply me some parts or some service agreement or something, there is nothing like reminder. We have अब तो कम हो गया. पहले in companies we used to have what we call chaser in supply chain. That guy was supposed to keep on reminding कि आज वहाँ से ये चलना है, कहाँ पहुँचा इससे.
Right.
Toyota, not Toyota, I'm saying Japanese ecosystem, if somebody gives you a commitment that this will happen at this time, you don't have to worry about it. And that's how you are taught whole life, no? I remember one accident which happened there, 92-93, which became a talk of the entire country. A girl child died, because when she was entering her school, must be a very small age or something, because the doors, she was crushed this thing because the time happened. And this became a very big question that how can you have that? So answer was that the timing is very disciplined, this thing. Maybe answer could have been that आज हमारे पास opportunity have that we have laser control, that if somebody is there, it will not happen. And then see that how Shinkansen trains within second and all those things. So discipline and the ecosystem which wants to do everything right, takes pride in doing everything right, makes a difference. No? And that the difference is that society, and then the learnings which it's a very, very strong learning organization. If you have a problem with any customer, if they report, okay, they will go deep down. The ability to really do a good PDCA, ability to go to root cause, then to initiate actions, and then later to see that I've killed or no. So it's an organization which is perfecting every day. Okay. Corolla, during those days, when we used to talk in India, that एक बहुत सिंपल क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता कि इंजन पहली बार खुलने से कितने बार खुलना चाहिए, तो we used to say 1.2 lakh is a good number, kilometers. And I remember Corollas going up to 10 lakh without anything.
Wow, 10 lakh kilometers.
Yeah. So that this thing, and then process orientation and all those things leave the role of leadership. If you are a supervisor and all those things, if you hear any Japanese organization and especially Toyota, they will say your role is only improving from current situation. Okay. The word like you're supervising, I mean, what do you have to supervise? There are people who are assigned work. They know what to do. Okay. They are very punctual. Okay. I mean, assembly lines start and you find that if out of 100 pots, 30 people have not come. Okay. How do you run that? No, but there it will not happen. Guys will be there in time. Okay. They will leave in time. They will not leave half-cooked job. So it's, I think it's more of learning the thing. And then obviously the newer labelers keep on coming, making refined and refined and refined and refined.
So I think the key insights are what I could summarize it as discipline, commitment, and pride. Pride is the main differentiation.
I'll add two more things. I am not able to recall the name. Some Mr. Takahashi or something. He used to be general manager there of the plant, no? Very, very respectable guy. Must be 53, 54 years, 55 years of age. My experience in India was that a person who is operations head is always under pressure, always doing some firefightings. And this guy, I used to sit in front of him. And practically table used to be clean. Okay, he was always at comfort. There was nothing pushing him. And if somebody walks with a problem, okay, and problem could be as small as that I found a scratch somewhere on some car or somewhere, and the guy will walk with him, and he is there for next 1 or 2 hours only trying to find out what went wrong and what can be done different and this thing. The work is going, no? So that process orientation helped them to this thing that they were able to mature. And one of the main difference between Toyota and a general Japanese society and others in the thing is that when we hire a person, okay, we hire a complete person, and the most important part of that person is the passion, the brain, okay. What happens is that when we are taught in our colleges, I still remember we used to have work study or something, a subject, and we were talking about the Taylor and Gilbert theory and all those things. And the example used to be number of shovels, no?
Yes.
Per hour, that how do you push person more and more to give the best, no? It's more physical, no?
Yeah.
Okay, even when we have agreements in India, trade union versus this, there is one thing known as speed of work. And still we follow British this thing. And it is supposed that ILO says that if it is around 3.5 miles per hour, that's the speed I mean, when you run on in your house or something, no? On treadmill, you see that, no? 7 miles per hour or there's that. So we sign agreement that 3.6, then it becomes 4, then 4.5 every year, and then finally it will reach 6 or something. It's very superficial because losses are because of the flow was not good. Sometimes there was shortage. Sometimes the machines were not up. Sometimes we made something and it was not right, so you have to rework on that. So, I mean, I think Toyota really has come out of it. No? Their matrices they chase are very simple, very meaningful. Okay, I mean, I have seen matrices in companies saying that the production guy has a matrice that I will do 1,000 jobs. Okay, out of those, if 150 jobs were not right, okay, actual outcome is 850. But then they will report 1,000, and the other guy will say 150 are under the thing. So I mean, I think simplicity, process in orientation, ownership. it's many things together which make the difference. No? Yeah.
And as you said, one of the highlight of Mr. Takashi, as you said that अगर कोई मैनेजर है या कोई whatever name मैनेजर लीडर whatever you want to say, अगर वो हमेशा फायर फाइटिंग कर रहा है या बिजी है तो कुछ ना कुछ तो प्रॉब्लम है इसका मतलब कि उसकी चीजें कहीं ना कहीं सही नहीं चल रही है, कहीं ना कहीं तो प्रॉब्लम है. तो इससे मैं द मैसेज एज आई एम टेकिंग that if you are leading whatever functions, small or large or big or medium, if you don't have plenty of time with yourself, if you are always busy, that means there is something wrong. So the goal has to be how much free you are, how much time you have, so that, as you said, then you can work on the continuous improvement, that how do you take X to something else. Because अगर टीम में ऑलरेडी रोल सबका डिफाइन है, सबको टास्क असाइन है, तो मैनेजर का काम क्या है उसमें? चीजें तो बताई हुई है, तो मैनेजर का एक ही काम हो सकता है कि उसको नेक्स्ट कैसे लेके जाए. ऐसा एंड इट्स अ ग्रेट लर्निंग. आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी मैनेजर्स एंड हाउ मेनी supervisors, how many leaders are thinking in that direction. They may be thinking in direction, but at least आपने एक गोल दिया कि क्या आपके पास 70-80% टाइम फ्री है कि नहीं है तो सोचिए कि क्यों नहीं है. So an important point that I want to understand, what is the role of a supervisor, of a manager, of a leadership position? How would you define their role?
So Sanjeev, I think I will take example of Mr. Bajaj, and I've seen his clippings talking about role of supervisor or other leaders in organization is improvement. They are supposed to work on things which are not going great and find answers that how we can do this thing, and to prepare for tomorrow and taking current situation to the next level, because rest of the people we have in organization to do routine jobs. No,
true. And a lot of time we hear, I think a lot of people would agree to me that they hear that, okay, who are in a leadership positions or manager position, they should be thinking more about future. Let's say you can put down in percentage of time, let's say 60%, 70%, 80%. But a lot of time I have seen people getting confused. Or maybe say when I was in many early years, even I was getting confused. So what should I do? What will I do in 80% of the time? Which I figured out in the last few years, but a lot of people have questioned, okay, when I need to think about improvement and I have to give considerable hour every day, 5 hours, 6 hours, then what should I be doing and what should I not be doing? So from your experience, can you further simplify this for people to understand and even practice?
So I think I shared a real example of real life in Toyota, where I shared example of a GM who used to be always looking free, and any problem he will go deep into it and will try to solve it for all times to come. I have a counter example. In my early days, we used to have a production meeting in the morning. It was not only production, it was sales, marketing and production meeting. Launch of product time, Dyna was launched and it was 1 year into market or something. And in the morning, there will be 15-20 guys there going, and my boss also used to go. And before entering at that time, I was looking at production of Dyna, and so just before that meeting, my boss will come to me and say that Vijay, कुछ problems है क्या? No way I can't say that there is no problem, because if I say there is no problem, I feel that I will not be seen as this thing that आदमी काम ही नहीं कर रहा. So I will make a list of 4-5 things. He will just write down on a piece of paper on the side and just walk in. And I'm sure it must be happening with other guys also. So they will list down, they will talk about many problems which will be this thing. A review meeting which is becoming a problem solving meeting. They will try to solve problems there. The meeting used to be for half an hour, so it will continue for 2 hours. And they will come out. And I said that, is this the way of working? And then experience of Toyota and all those things in Japan. And I said that I have to learn that how do I have time for doing things which are not routine. One of the example which I learned and has really made me to think on those lines more and more is during COVID, in economic times, I saw a picture. I saw a picture of Everest, a real picture, with a queue there of people trying to go on. And the impression which I carried my whole life was that Everest is a place where very few people can go, and that story which we had learned during our school times, that 2 persons went there, and still you have quiz and where questions are asked.
Who was the first person?
Who was the first? And it's still a debate whether the local person was the first person or second or all those things. So then it was looked like a scare place where this thing, and then this like changed me this thing that what has changed. So are we realizing that? Are we trying to really understand what is going to change, what will be required, and am I equipping myself for that? Okay. Or I am lost in my current world and believing that everything is going right. And I am doing very hard work, very sincere thing, and just petting myself. Okay. So slowly I felt that supervisor should work in a way that they keep on making people more capable, more knowledgeable, and more skilled, so that they do their job right. And supervisor has to spend maybe 60-70% of the time doing routine and has 20-30%. May not be very long, but at least for next month of numbers, next month of quality issues, current issues in the market, and all those things. When it comes to functional lead, okay, like I believe I was functional lead there in most of the jobs. Last 20-25 years. I think I have to have 75-80% of time worrying about things beyond those typical operations. It's not about making and all those things, it's less than. And the person in between may have 50-50 or something like this. So it takes time, but I tried doing that. One thing which, one quote which moved me a lot is that you have to plan for doing things, okay, which is required. So if I have to work on a product or something, this is the product which will make difference, so I have to work on that. The tendency to work on things which I can do or my team can do, okay, it doesn't take you anywhere. Okay. So you have to take what will finally make difference, and then you have to resource around that.
Right.
Okay. And sometimes you will have issues of capability and all those things. Even if you have to bring resources who understand this better and all those things, you should be open to do this thing.
Right. So, important question comes to my mind. We all have a lot of problem-solving meetings in the organization, a lot of review meetings in the organization, in every function, in, let's say, in manufacturing or even non-manufacturing functions as well. How many reviews are enough?
No, so see, reviews will be different at different levels, no? Yeah. I mean, it depends on person, but I believe that when you set some objectives or targets or numbers or anything, you set with your team and decide those. And once those things are set and resources are created again for that, enough knowledge and training and everything is done, then you have to just leave it to person who is supposed to do. Because the person who is accountable for that, okay, and responsible should have authority also to do this thing. So, and I believed in this thing that if I have, I mean, most of the time I had 10 or 11 people reporting to me. And once we have reached agreement and sitting together, cross-functional in the thing, then I believe that you are doing this. And if you are finding that it's not happening, then you will give me a call. I will not ask you otherwise. And you will give me a call well in time so that I still have time to try and bring some improvement or change or something. I still have a chance to correct it. But you will not inform me for the sake of informing. Okay. There will be some boundaries where we work. There are some informations which have to go to organization, some information which have to go to other function if some not happening in time or something. Those only you inform me. But and second is that work content you divide like there is a term known as hijunka in Japanese. What it means is balancing of your this thing. So if you have to make X number of say one product A, B, C, then we will while deciding we will take a call that okay, you have 25 days, leave one day for exigencies or something. I mean, if I am working for India, I know that it can be election day, it can be heavy rains which people install, look, many things. So I just kept that 1% thing, divide into others and then say that we will try to balance it within 1% of change. So I have two lines and we are trying to work within that. Because it is not me, there are 600 suppliers who are supporting.
Right.
Okay, if you do something faster, they can't feed you. If you don't use something, they have this thing, how do you feed that? So once you do all these things in this thing, and then you're just trying to do in a very, very systematic way, easy way. So if I am working for you, Sajid, and we have developed a trust, will you like to understand my travel path? Will you like to sign off that what I have spent on also? Company have clear policies. Company had cleared this thing that this is what your entitlement. You are an actual. I am doing that. Okay. So in place of wasting time in reviewing those, okay, we will have a very clear understanding that these things are not negotiable. If somebody does plays with the trust or something, we don't need that person.
Yeah.
In place of putting cost of inspection or controls, which customer will never pay. Okay, and taking pride for that person, no. Okay, I mean, if somebody comes and puts a bill in front of me, and if I'm looking at it, I think I'm playing with the pride. I will just, I don't want to sign it. I mean, I'm saying it's okay. So this way you can save a lot of time. You can develop relationship of trust, relationship where the other person is ready to take total ownership. Okay. People should know that if something goes wrong, okay, if intentions were right, if this thing was there is somebody who is going to support. Okay, no question will be there around that. Okay.
That's
if questions will be there to see that what we should do differently that next time we don't land up into this situation.
True, very true. Right. I think that's a great insight कि ये जो प्रोडक्टिविटी जो बढ़ाने की बात है, how would that get improved at say functional leadership level, at even say supervisor level, and where one can save time. Not only time saving, you just talked about how an ownership can be driven as well, because you are showing a responsibility that somebody is owner of that. It's a
And
great
it
point.
will create habit of taking a bit of risk, calculated risk.
Yeah.
I mean, is failure a choice? Yes, failure is also a choice. If very strong belief that if I do 10 things, maybe 7, 8 can go right, 2, 3 may go great, few will go just okay, and there will be 2, 3 things which will not go as per my plan.
Yes.
I will fail on this.
Yes.
Okay.
I think last 15 minutes what you spoke is a complete, I don't know what's the word to use. It was amazing training for me, myself as well, and anybody listening in last 10-15 minutes. It's a workshop that how can you lead and where can you save time, how can you build trust, how can you give ownership to people. Thank you for bringing that. So we talked about from Ashok Leyland to your time in Toyota, I think you reached up to the level of VP quality and manufacturing.
I was senior manager.
And now you moved from Toyota to an American firm, General Motors.
Yeah.
So what was that change, and what new learnings that you had in General Motors, and what were the key insights from there?
So, Toyota, somehow it was not doing well. And Daewoo bought in Toyota, so it became Daewoo for 2-3 years. I was with them. And at one time, Daewoo got into problem as organization, financial problems, and it was taken over by General Motors. Rightly. I knew that their MD is one Aditya Vij, and I had a friend there, so I know that normally they used to have aditya.vij@gm this thing, so that's a way to write an email. I was not sure whether this Vij is VIZ or VIJ. So I write an email. I put both aditya.vij with J, and then I put in copy aditya.vij with Z.
Right.
Well done. And then I wrote that understand one day in this Devi location will be picked by GM, which is happening worldwide. And this is a location where I walk from this to this date. And practically I knew everything about this, and I believe I can be the right person for you to take it there. And difficult to believe, but within 15 minutes of that mail, I get a message from Mr. Aditya. Vijay, we have one manufacturing guy with the name Satya Veerapani, who is expat in India at Halon. And that guy is visiting Delhi. He will be on this Saturday. Will you mind just meeting him? And I said, yes, why not? And I met him, and I was in GM. When I went for, that guy recommended me, and I had a meeting with Aditya Vij and the other guy who till recently was their MD, Rajiv Chauhan, in Delhi. And Aditya said, Vijay, this is fine, but tomorrow if it doesn't happen, what happens? If we are not able to pick the Lamborghini. I said, that's my destiny. Then I am at Halon, no issues. Yeah. Then they said that if that situation comes, then we will have problem of position also. So will you mind that we decide that position at that time.
Hmm.
So I said, fine. If that happens, then we will decide. So, I mean, I'm okay for production administration. That Toyota's strength. I'm okay for manufacturing. I'm okay for quality,
Right.
or anything else. And when finally I got a letter, I was quality manager there, directing quality. So that's how it went.
So I think one of the key learning from here is that you put yourself up for that position.